Artur Beterbiev wins his 9th professional fight with a 7th round TKO over Alexander Johnson. Beterbiev won pretty much every round apart from one on my scorecard, but he did get hit with a few shots which you wouldn't really want to see him get hit with, and he looked a little bit clumsy in there at times. He got the job done, don't get it twisted. He managed to overpower Johnson and take him out in the end, but there were weaknesses on display, no question about it. However, every fighter has weaknesses. It's whether or not their opponents can exploit those weaknesses. And based on what I saw tonight, I think, and this is going to go against what most people think, I actually think that Adonis Stevenson would be more dangerous for Beterbiev than Sergey Kovalev would. If they make Beterbiev against Kovalev, I'll be more confident picking Beterbiev over Kovalev than I would be over Stevenson. Again, most people are going to disagree with that, and I understand, that's cool, but styles make fights. And I saw certain angles where Beterbiev was open to a southpaw left, whereas against orthodox fighters, I think his defense holds up a little better. There was also moments where Beterbiev actually turned southpaw himself, because he found that it was easier to land from that position. He could land a right hook up front and a left hand from the southpaw stance. So he did a few things himself in there. He's not quite as polished as some people would like him to be. He's a little bit rough, a little bit raw around the edges, but I still think he's a force, and I still think that he's ready for a world title fight right now. I still believe that. Fighters on the way up are going to have opponents who are going to make them look pedestrian at times. It's going to happen. Even some of the greatest fighters of all time had performances where their opponent made them look pedestrian. Far more pedestrian than Beterbiev looked in this fight. Sergey Kovalev, let's not forget, had a split decision. I think it was in his 10th or 11th fight against Darnell Boone. Split decision, people. He was dropped against Boone in that fight. A few fights later, but Kovalev went, I think, 10 rounds. Was it 8 rounds or 10 rounds or something like that? Or maybe he went the distance anyway. A few fights later after the Boone fight, in his 13th fight or something like that, against a guy who was who had about 6 fights or something, or 4 or 6 fights. Very few number of fights. I don't have Kovalev's record up now, but go check his record out and you'll see what I'm saying. So even Kovalev, Stevenson, etc., on their way up, had pedestrian performances where they looked far worse and far more vulnerable than Beterbiev looked in this fight. Beterbiev was never in trouble at any stage, didn't appear to be gassing, didn't appear to be under pressure at any point in the fight. He was in there against an opponent who was very awkward, who was pretty sneaky with that left hand and did manage to land it a few times, and exploited holes in Beterbiev's defense. There wasn't any cause for concern in terms of Beterbiev being chinny or, you know, anything like that, or his punches not having the necessary effect. Johnson has never been stopped before. As far as I know, never been down. So this was a first for Johnson. The first time he's ever been put to the canvas and taken out of a fight. So I think it was a good experience actually for Beterbiev. He needs those kind of fights. He needs guys who are going to be able to extend him a little bit, you know, ask questions of his defense and stand up to his power a little bit more than some of his previous opponents. So I think it was a good workout fight. Him and his team can go back to the gym and look at the things that he did wrong in the fight and improve on them before he steps up to the next level and takes on an Adonis Stevenson or a Sergey Kovalev. So drop your comments below, people. Let me know how you felt about Beterbiev's performance. Let me know how you think he would do against Stevenson at this stage, or Kovalev. Again, I'm talking about how I think Beterbiev would do against Stevenson or Kovalev fighting them next. If he continues to improve and tightens up the defense, maybe I'll be just as confident as of picking him over Stevenson as I would Kovalev. Styles make fights, but at this point in time, the mistakes he's making, I think, would be more easily exploited by Stevenson with his very long arms, that southpaw left hand from long distance. Yeah, I saw things in this fight that Stevenson could take advantage of. So, yeah, let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out.